Et salut tout le monde, on se retrouve ensemble pour découvrir la mise à jour 2.5 de Genshin Impact. Et dans cette mise à jour, eh bien, il y a des quêtes d'histoire. On va en apprendre plus sur Yae Miko et Shogun Raiden. Donc pour faire la quête de Yae Miko, de toute façon, il faut faire la quête de Shogun Raiden en premier. Donc on est parti tout de suite, l'acte 2, parce qu'on avait fait l'acte 1 il y a quelques temps. C'est parti, hop, je vais récupérer ça tant que j'y suis, voilà. Et on est parti. Lumière de purification. Ça marche. Parfait, il faut que je change de carte évidemment. Inazuma. Et on est parti. Tac. Bon, on va voir ce qu'on va découvrir, hein, parce que de mémoire, il me semble que le premier acte était vraiment cool. Donc j'espère que l'acte 2 est aussi cool. Bon, de toute façon, avec la Shogun, on ne devrait pas être déçu. Allez, on commence en parlant à Catherine, comme souvent.
Abyssosk. Recently, the Adventurers Guild has received an unusual commission.
Encore un truc spécial, c'est pour nous.
We believe that the traveler would be the most suitable candidate, right?
Voilà, on connaît à force.
Indeed, as ever. I will spare the pleasantries then. May I ask if you two are available to help? Well, let me go over it briefly. Our client for this job is the Yashiro Commission. Apparently, Rift Towns are attacking the roots of the sacred sakura nearby Mount Yogo in great numbers.
Rift Towns? On Narukami Island?
Ok, encore les racines du cerisier.
Yes. We are not sure where exactly these creatures come from. But this time, they are attacking in alarming numbers with great aggression and a clear target. The sacred sakura is of tremendous importance to Inazuma. I trust you are aware of this already?
Très bien.
Good. Then you can see that this case is very urgent indeed.
Is the Tenryu Commission aware?
Yes, and they are already taking action of their own. However, given that the sacred sakura's root system is vast and complex, and faced with the unpredictability and scale of the Rift Town's attacks,
ouais, on a
they are
du meilleur.
finding it difficult to defend against them. Their main priority is to protect the civilian population, so they are actively looking to cooperate with all other available forces to eliminate the monsters. The Adventurers Guild is one of the key parties assisting the Tenryu Commission with their work. But so far, the combined efforts to combat the Rift Towns has failed to substantially ameliorate the situation.
Faut renvoyer les toutous à la niche. Ce n'est pas quelques chiens qui vont me faire peur. Ok, à la niche.
You have our deepest gratitude.
À la niche, les toutous.
Your confident response puts me far more at ease. I will mark on your map the areas where Rift Town appearances have been recently reported. I hope you won't encounter too much trouble overcoming them.
Ça roule.
Relax. We'll be back before you can say Ad Astra Abyssosk.
Illico presto. Rêves éphémères, Imperatrix Umbrosa. Rêves éphémères. C'est parfait. T'as là une quête, elle. Ok. Ok. Donc. Direction là-bas. On va se TP au plus pratique. Et on va casser des dents, hein, si j'ai bien compris. J'ai bien compris, on va casser des dents. Mais bon, ça va pas être si simple que ça. C'est pas juste quelques monstres. Surtout des trucs aussi nuls. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Bam! Je repousse là. Peut-être exagéré là. Je claquais tous les ultis.
Incoming. Shine down. With sword comes shadow. Inazuma shines eternal.
Ça dégage la vermine. À la niche les toutous. Comme dirait Paymon.
Illusion shattered. Nowhere to hide. Speed of light.
Putain, mon ulti il s'est pas rechargé sur le jumping. Voilà, comme ça il est prêt pour la prochaine fois. Ah, il y en a encore. Ok, bon, c'était rapide.
Torn to oblivion. Shogun?
Voilà, ça fait plaisir à Shogun.
Could also be A.
Oh, it's you two.
Eh, c'est Shogun ou Ei? On
It
sait
has
pas.
been a long time.
Le
We
mystère.
have not seen each other since the resolution of the Tenryou Commission crisis.
Ah, c'est Ei.
Okay, sounds more like A. It is you, right? You sure made short work of them. That was amazing.
Ah, ouais, c'est la best. C'est pour ça que je l'ai dans mon équipe.
I'm making early preparations for what is to come. Last time we took a walk around Inazuma together, I witnessed the way the world is today. I was finally able to comprehend some things that I had never understood in the past. Since then, every time I encounter an obstacle in my thinking, I find myself having the urge to spend some time in the outside world.
Makes sense. You must get super bored being stuck in there all
Ah,
the
mais
time.
je sais plus combien de temps elle est restée bloquée dans
Might
son
I
truc là.
remind you that I am not here to amuse myself. Recently, I have observed a number of changes in the external world from the plane of Euthymia. The most serious of these being the attack on the sacred Sakura by numerous rift hounds. I considered this matter worthy of my attention, so I pursued them, and they led me here, where
Ok,
I
après,
happened to run into you.
On est sur le
If
coup.
the
Hein.
Shogun rather than I were to discover them, yes, perhaps she would have left the situation alone.
Why? Because she's just a puppet?
Precisely. According to the rules I designed for her, matters of this nature are to be delegated to the Tri-Commission. But rift hounds attacking the sacred Sakura,
Ah oui, d'accord.
it brings back bad memories of that terrible
Elle a pas l'air
disaster.
bien. Hein.
A disaster?
Yes.
Ok, une histoire.
500 years ago, a great catastrophe befell Inazuma. Everything was engulfed in a pitch-black fog, and monsters ravaged the land. Countless lives were lost, and this homeland that the people had worked so hard to build barely escaped being obliterated entirely. The monsters committed many atrocities on Inazuman soil, and the Rift Hounds were always their advance guard. Their duty
Okay.
was to tear open a passage through space with their claws and teeth, and then call in even more powerful beasts.
Donc là, ils essaient de refaire la même chose.
So you've heard of it too. That's an episode of history that I am loath to recall. Maybe to you, it seems like my response to these creatures was an excessive one. But an excess of caution is not unwarranted in this case.
Guess you can't argue with that.
Since we are both here for the same reason, let us work together.
Bah
From the
ok.
traces they've left in the surrounding area, there should be many more monsters nearby. All of them must be eliminated.
On a qu'à dire que elle, ce sera Ei, et moi, je serai Shogun, vu que je l'ai dans mon équipe.
My mom feels so
Eh ouais.
safe when we're in Ace Company.
Moi, je suis la marionnette.
Having someone uber powerful on your team kinda makes you feel invincible, doesn't it? Oh yeah, after we've dealt with the monsters, we should ask her to tell us more about Kanya. This color! It's
Parfait.
similar to the color when the sacred Sakura takes damage. Let's follow it. It should be this way.
Je suis les traces. Ok, c'est là-bas. Ces vieilles traces bleues là. Des schtroumpfs. Ok, il y a un donjon. Je me suis perdu? Non, c'est bon.
We are lucky. The damage is
Okay.
not too serious. The Yashiro Commission will be able to nurse the root system back to health.
Ah, c'est dégueulasse.
This stuff that's flowing out, is it sap or something? And how come it's glowing?
Paimon, elle se demande si, ça peut coûter des sous. Ou si ça se mange. What the fuck?
What's this? Could they be dead people? It wouldn't be the first time
Ah, c'est la
we've seen
mémoire de
ghosts on
l'arbre.
our journey.
Mais non.
But why would they appear here?
Let's search the area. Perhaps we will find out.
Très bien, fouille.
I can't go on like this. Not when the other troops are counting on me.
What happened here? Could you tell us?
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Eux se sont
Run
battus à
quick,
500
while you
ans.
still can. The monsters will be back. And once you're in their sights, I'm telling you, there's no escaping them. We will defend Inazuma until our dying breath. You don't know? Inazuma is engulfed in darkness. Beasts and horrifying monsters are everywhere.
Ok, il est vraiment dans le
They're
passé et tout.
merciless, ferocious, and they will devour everything in their path. Every last trace of humanity's existence, I tell you. They'll devour it all.
But look, none of that seems to be going on around here.
Bah
Not
ouais, je
right
comprends
now.
pas.
But they'll be back. Look, get out of here. Now, there's no time left.
Ok, après
The
on est
Almighty
plus
Shogun
fort
is
que toi,
gone.
hein, donc
So is
calme-toi.
Kitsune Saigu. There is no one left to rely on but ourselves. I don't know how long we can hold out for.
Ah, la Shogun
But
les a
if we
abandonnés.
abandon our hope, then we've got nothing left at all.
Don't worry, I'm right here.
It's the Shogun?
Shogun
You're
toute
back.
puissante.
Please, we beg you. You have to help us. You have to save Inazuma.
T'inquiète, c'est déjà fait.
Only the glow of your supreme lightning can dispel this terrible darkness. Please, or the whole of Inazuma will be reduced to a hunting ground for the beasts.
Calm down. The war you speak of is over.
Over? But what do you mean?
En fait, t'es mort,
Shogun,
et là t'es dans le futur. Enfin, dans
Look
ton
around
futur à
you.
toi.
The grass grows green and lush, and a soft breeze blows. This is Inazuma at peace, as you will no doubt remember. There are no monsters, nor is there anything else here that could threaten your life.
what? But how? Just moments ago, they were everywhere. I
Ou alors on
saw
va
them tear
sauver
my
le
comrades to
passé.
shreds with my own eyes.
Hey, calm down. Everything's fine now.
I think I understand. Almighty Shogun, you saved Inazuma.
Bah évidemment.
Yes, we were right to place our trust in the Almighty Shogun. As long as the Shogun is with us, Inazuma will last for an eternity. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, thank you.
De rien, retourne dans les ténèbres.
He's gone.
Paimon can't even begin to understand what that was all about. But somehow, Paimon feels all sad and hopeless.
If I am not mistaken, what we just saw was a samurai's memory that was buried in the land.
Mais non.
The sacred
Ah oui, c'est
sakura
ça.
can absorb and purify the filth in the ley lines.
Voilà, c'est les souvenirs de l'arbre.
After the
Putain,
rift hounds attacked,
je l'avais
some
pré-shot.
of this filth leaked out through the cracks in the trunk and formed a physical entity. An entity formed with strong filth would be highly aggressive. But when purified, It presents in the form of a memory. Purified filth quickly dissipates and will be absorbed by the ley lines shortly afterwards. In other words, it cannot exist for too long.
So the memories of the ones that died are all appearing at this moment?
Yes.
Exactement.
That soldier was one of the many thousands who made the ultimate sacrifice. What he was describing just now was precisely the disaster that happened in Inazuma
Il a dit que la Shogun, elle était pas là.
500 years ago. Yes. Inazuma was facing many great crises at that time. Some were local in origin, while others came from the now fallen kingdom of
Du coup, elle était
Kanria.
occupée ailleurs.
The disaster in Inazuma caused me great concern. I felt that I had to step in before it was too late. Otherwise, it would spread to all of Teyvat. But my friend, Kitsune Saiku, reassured me that I had nothing to worry about.
Ah oui.
She would shoulder the responsibility of
qu'est-ce qui s'est passé
protecting
avec Kitsune?
Inazuma and mobilize all forces at her disposal to combat the threat. I could tell that, although neither of us acknowledged it, we both knew that the road ahead would likely end in tragedy.
So, Inazuma was attacked at the same time as when the disaster happened in Kanria?
Indeed. Countless monsters suddenly appeared throughout all of Inazuma. In the end, Kitsune Saigu sacrificed her life.
Ok, donc elle apparemment elle est bien morte là, Kitsune
I
Saigu.
never had the chance to see her one last time. But I would like to believe that she kept her promise to me until the very last. But even then, Inazuma was left more devastated
on sait
than we
peut-être pas
could
si elle
have
est vraiment
ever
morte, en fait.
imagined. Those terrible tragedies left great wounds that are still felt to this day, both on the land itself and in my heart.
Hey,
Hey. Est-ce la perte dont parlait Yaomiko?
Yes. For the longest time, I couldn't bring myself to face the pain of that loss. All my martial might was in vain. Though I could conquer Tatarigami and vanquish monsters, I was helpless against the ravages of time, powerless to keep the ones I cherished alive.
Ouais, elle est toute triste.
But after my clash with human ambition, I thought long and hard. Now I realize I cannot fixate on the past forever. When I traveled around Inazuma with you, I caught a glimpse of how the nation has progressed over the centuries. A glimpse of human potential. Everything far exceeded my expectations.
Elle s'attendait pas à ce que les humains soient aussi
inevitably
forts.
invites further loss, but also new encounters. Just think of that soldier. Despite all the losses he had experienced, he still chose to keep fighting for the sake of moving forward. All those who sacrificed themselves back then gave their lives fighting for a future. But perhaps the future they were hoping for is not the eternity that I once strove for. As Inazuma's god, it is high time I honored their wishes.
Exactement.
Warriors of the past, who spilled your blood on this land, your noble souls now rest in this earth. I
il
will
était temps de
never
le dire.
forget you, and all that you did
Après
for
500 ans, ça
Inazuma.
fait longtemps qu'ils attendent.
he's taking all this pretty hard.
Come on. Let's keep investigating the damage to the sacred Sakura.
Allez, go. On peut continuer à enquêter. Ok, gauche ou droite?
Expected there are a load of rift hounds here too.
Vainquez les limites.
Leave them to me.
Ah merde, j'ai Jekyll. Est-ce qu'elle fait beaucoup plus de dégâts que la mienne? Ah, elle en fait plus quand même. Mais elle a l'arme qu'il faut aussi, je crois.
There is no escape. Now you shall perish.
46 000. Ah oui, moi je fais pas 46 000 de dégâts. Attends, je peux pas voir. Je peux pas avoir son stuff. Ok, c'est ça son stuff. Oh non. Bon, je peux pas avoir pour le moment. Et son arme, c'est... Ouais, la classique, trop bien. Augmente l'attaque d'une valeur équivalente. Ah ouais. Ouais, il faudrait vraiment ça. Aptitude, ça, à niveau 11 aussi. Constellation, les 3 premières. Ah, tu m'étonnes. Ok. Comme ça, moi, je sais à peu près ce qu'il faut que je fasse. Après, c'est dommage parce que on peut pas la jouer avec les autres persos. Oh, elle m'a fait vraiment trop mal. 65 PA. Ok.
Something seems wrong with A.
Why would you ask that?
Bah, je sais pas, t'es bizarre.
Well, usually you'd pull out your sword and swish! Vaporize them all in one go!
Ah oui, là c'était plus compliqué.
You are unduly concerned. I'm simply conserving my energy. Although I have some understanding of the situation already, it could take an unexpected turn at any time. I must be prepared for anything. If there are more formidable monsters lying in wait in this area,
peut-être ce qui nous
I
attend en
must
fait.
make sure I have the strength to face them.
Ah, makes sense! Spoken like a seasoned shogun! The roots seem pretty badly damaged this time. We definitely need to tell the Yashiro Commission about this. Hey, the same light is leaking out again!
Ok, encore un esprit. Oh.
Furuyama?
Ah, elle le connaît.
Is that you?
Almighty Shogun, what brings you back so soon? I thought you were off fighting a battle in a distant land.
Fighting a battle in a distant land? Sounds like this guy's talking
Bah
about
oui,
500
Paimon.
years ago too.
Ah, on a
Allow
compris ça.
me to introduce Furuyama. He is a tea master and a member of my retinue. Though blind, Furuyama is unparalleled in his ability to appraise tea. He brews some of the very finest tea in all of Inazuma.
Your Excellency, you shower me with praise undeserved. I have simply had the good fortune to be in your Excellency's presence long enough to become acquainted with all the skills that are required of me.
C'est un fayoul.
It sounds like the Almighty Shogun has brought a guest. I'm afraid I'm unable to serve you any respectable refreshments on account of the current situation. But please, sit and rest.
Non, non, on n'a pas le temps. On doit aller se
After
battre.
all, it's quite a mess out there.
What should we do?
Je voudrais en apprendre davantage sur les événements passés.
Yeah. Sheesh. There's monsters everywhere out there. It's pitch black and loads of people have been injured.
I see. So, they have fought their way this far already. Most of the residents in this neighborhood have already escaped. They wanted to take me with them, but it seemed rather pointless to me. So, I decided to stay.
Il a décidé de
And
rester
now
là et
the
il est mort.
Almighty
Voilà,
Shogun is here, I have even less reason to run away.
voilà sa vie.
Imagine if this was something that even the Almighty Shogun was powerless to resolve. Where could I possibly run to then? People flee out of a desire to live on, and the desire to live on stems from a feeling of having unfinished business in life.
Ah, ok, lui il a déjà tout fini, machin.
But me,
Fin du
I
game.
have no such thoughts, and I have no regrets. The Almighty Shogun often speaks to me about her dreams over tea. Just listening to her stories, I've been blind for many years, but her vivid descriptions took me on a splendid journey to all the most beautiful places in Inazuma. Over time, I've come to
oui, c'est le
understand
romantique,
her
ok.
mindset. Quite the romantic at heart.
Là, on en
A
apprend.
true dreamer. One thing she always says is, good things don't last forever. everything changes, fades, disappears completely over the passage of time. And so, people must make the most of the life they have, seize the chance to enjoy it while it lasts, and have no regrets in the end.
Ok. Ben j'avoue, hein.
So you see, as bleak as things
C'est pas
may
vraiment ce
be
qu'elle nous
now,
dirait.
I have experienced countless wonderful things in life, and have no reason not to be satisfied.
Perhaps you are right.
It won't be long now before I have to say goodbye to the almighty Shogun for the last time. Ah, what a pity. I'll never get to see what Inazuma looks like after the
Bah, de toute façon, t'es
almighty
aveugle,
Shogun
donc tu verras
rebuilds
pas.
it anew. But I suppose it doesn't matter. Everyone says that Inazuma has turned dark now. But to me, it went dark a long time ago.
Bah oui, il est pas con.
Once this catastrophe is over, life is sure to spring forth anew. But even if I survived until then, I'd probably be a hopelessly befuddled old so-and-so by then.
Il me fait de la peine un peu lui quand même.
So, never mind, eh?
Que ça soit la merde ou pas, ça ne change rien.
Oh, goodness me. Speaking of befuddled, look at me rambling away to my heart's content and forgetting to serve the tea.
Mais t'as pas de tête, t'as dit.
The
toute
almighty
façon, on n'a
Shogun
pas le temps.
comes to visit and I don't have the tea ready. A truly egregious loss of decorum. One moment, I'll just... Where in the world is the tea set?
Donc t'as pas remarqué que t'étais dans un champ au milieu de nulle part.
I hope the others didn't smash it to smithereens in their hasty departure.
Can't see a tea set anywhere around here.
Really? But it's always been right by my side. Goodness gracious, what a fool I'm making of myself. I couldn't possibly have my guests
on va pas
fetch
leur
it
ramener du thé quand même.
themselves. That would be most discourteous indeed.
Don't worry about it. Take a rest. We'll be back right away.
Almighty Shogun, you're not going too, are you? No, no, no. Your humble servant implores you, not with the war raging outside.
This place is complicated. It's quite unlike the tea house in your memories. Leave it to us.
But... well, okay. I never thought I'd see the day that I need the almighty Shogun to personally collect my tea set for
Bah,
me.
profites-en. Hein.
I can't decide whether it's a final regret or a final stroke of good fortune.
Profites-en bien, parce que ça sera pas tous les jours comme ça.
Go to find a tea set. Having a cup of tea isn't a...
Ok, on va chercher du thé. Je te jure. Il a intérêt à nous raconter des trucs après.
I'm also feeling very...
It's the Traveler. And the almighty Shogun.
Eh ouais, mec.
How might I be of assistance, Your Excellency?
I wish to borrow a tea set from the Yashiro Commission.
Oh, sure. I'll fetch that for you right away. Please step into the courtyard and have a rest, almighty Shogun. Oh, and I'll inform my lord about your visit immediately.
Non, on n'a pas le temps.
Tea set. I'll bring that here as soon as it's ready.
Be at ease. I'm not here to see Commissioner Kamisato. Actually, I'd prefer to spend this time chatting with the Traveler. Please, fetch the tea set at your convenience.
Va juste chercher du
No,
thé
no, no.
et
I am
calme-toi.
your humble servant. I daren't think of my own convenience when the almighty Shogun graces me with her presence. I'll deal with it right away.
Well, it's not often we have the chance to chat. I'm sure you must have a lot of questions.
Right. Paimon wanted to ask that too. The almighty Shogun that he described didn't sound
Bah ouais.
anything like you at all.
I seldom had the time to drink tea. Any free time I had was spent practicing martial arts. So, in the vast majority of cases, the one he made tea for was the former Electro Archon, who was also my sister,
Raiden Makato, ok.
Raiden Makoto. He may well
Makoto.
have had an inkling about there being two Raiden Shoguns, but he always acted as if he was completely unaware of it. The philosophy of life that he shared with us just now That was Makoto's view on reality. She always saw things that way.
You and Makoto had pretty different views, huh?
Bah ouais.
Indeed we did. It was the biggest difference between us. In her eyes, the most precious things in this world were dreams. The yearning for a better future held by living beings. They
Ok,
are
elle avait juste
similar,
des rêves.
but not identical. When you came charging into the plane of Euthymia, I saw human aspirations light up the sky far above in the form of countless stars. This somewhat shook me. Now, it seems like she was right, while I took the wayward path.
Wow. There sure was a lot going on beneath the surface.
Makoto saw a bigger picture than I did. In her view, a dream is more imaginary,
Là, il y a des mots
more
compliqués là.
abstract than an ambition.
Ok,
An
abstract.
ambition is a
Abstrait.
yearning for something material or a concrete outcome. It is finite in nature and will be replaced by a new ambition in due course. Makoto was more concerned with the force that drives humans to constantly generate new ambitions in the first place. It is something innate, rooted in instinct. In other words, it is something eternal.
That's, quite a lot to take in.
Elle est un peu dans les,
To
dans
put
les,
it
dans les vapes.
simply, Makoto
Voilà.
wasn't concerned about
Ok, elle
outcomes.
voulait pas de résultats.
I didn't understand at the time. How can we say that we are maintaining eternity when things are constantly moving forward and evolving? I suppose what
s'adapter,
it
quoi.
comes down to is the definition of eternity she set out with.
Elle semblait correspondre davantage à la manière dont les humains appréhendent le monde. Ah, c'était plus une humaine en fait.
Yes, it does.
Mhm.
I always thought that she must have grasped some elusive, arcane wisdom to arrive
Non, au
at the
final, elle est juste
conclusions
sortie
she
et elle a
did.
vu le monde.
But in the last analysis, Makoto's philosophy was, on the surface at least, an elegantly simple one. Notwithstanding that it was also the more prudent choice, based on a more mature, far-sighted outlook.
Do you feel you're starting to understand her better now?
You have already witnessed my previous views on eternity. But now, I no longer cling to what was lost. I suppose that means our differences have been reconciled.
Ah, on peut dire ça, on peut
Almighty
dire ça.
Shogun,
Ah,
I found a tea set. This one in particular should be fit for your excellency's use.
It's quite beautiful. Thank you.
et on le verra pas nous.
You are too kind. A humble servant such as I does not deserve the gratitude of the almighty Shogun.
Et lui il veut des
It's
compliments.
all good, sir. She's actually pretty chill.
Let us return. We ought not keep Furuyama waiting too long.
Très bien, go. Go boire du thé. Hop, je vais me taper ici, ça me paraît pas trop mal. Tin, 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 tin. Ok.
Hey,
Welcome back.
go. He wouldn't have gone looking for a tea set himself, would he?
Or perhaps the ley lines did not have the power to sustain him for
Bah
very
ouais.
long. As was the case with the memory we saw
Les
earlier.
souvenirs sont partis.
So we won't get to drink his tea? We didn't even have a chance to say goodbye.
Paimon, elle est trop sensible.
The information held in the ley lines is complex and disorderly. The fact that we were able to meet him to begin with was a miracle of fate.
Préparons-nous un thé nous-mêmes. Non, faut
Well,
pas que ce soit triste.
this chance won't come often, and we do have a tea set. Perhaps I should try my hand at making us a pot of tea. I've
Ok,
watched
si tu veux, si tu
Furuyama
veux.
brew tea on many occasions. I doubt I should have any major problems doing it myself.
Ah, je suis sûr il va pas être bon.
The tea is ready.
Ah,
Please
il est
give it
sympa
a
le service,
try.
j'avoue.
So many thoughts were racing through my head as I was brewing it. I'm not sure how to explain it. You're right,
Je comprends, je comprends.
but the things we've seen today have brought back many memories for me. I've been reminded of many people, too. Kitsune Saigu, Makoto, and all the other friends who I watched pass even further back. Back at the Yashiro Commission, I kept the conversation reasonably light-hearted. But now,
Ah, ok. Là, on va aux choses sérieuses.
I'd like to broach a heavier topic, if I may. The events of 500 years ago not only robbed me of my friend, Kitsune Saigu,
En fait, ils lui ont pris tout le monde.
they also took Makoto away from me, for good.
She died in that disaster too?
Yes. She went to Conria alone, without telling me. Unlike me, Makoto was no martial artist. Whenever similar crises had arisen in the past, I was always the one to face them
Ok,
in
mais
her
ça va
stead.
quoi du coup l'autre?
But this time, the circumstances were so grave that Makoto had no choice but to leave me behind. Or perhaps it was more that she went ahead of me,
En vrai, c'est assez triste
put
ça.
herself in front of me, so that I would remain hidden. Yes. It was too late. I arrived only in time to hear her dying breath. She had already lapsed into unconsciousness by that point, so all I could do was enter into her mind.
Ah ouais.
As far as you're concerned, it would be somewhere similar to the plain of Euthymia. It was there that we bid each other a final farewell. I cried bitterly.
En fait, elle allait un peu se suicider
Even
l'autre.
in those final moments, I couldn't understand her actions. Why did she go to Conria first, and not I? Why did she keep me in the dark about it? Was it to shield me?
Il y a un
It
truc
was
de louche, il y
there
a un truc
and
qui sait
then
pas, c'est sûr.
that I resolved to pursue eternity. As a testament to that decision, I saved her realm of consciousness just before it collapsed completely, and brought it back to Inazuma.
That's quite a story.
When I returned to Inazuma, I was shocked to find that a great sakura tree had appeared on Mount Yogo. The tree that you know as the sacred sakura.
Ok, en fait, le cerisier,
That's exactly what
Attends, j'ai dit une
everyone
connerie,
back
c'est elle
then
ou c'est
told
pas elle?
me as well. That it had existed since time immemorial. They were so matter-of-fact about it, and couldn't at all understand what I was so surprised about. No one questioned it. And yet, its presence contrasted so starkly with the area as I remembered it. It seemed as if I was the only one to have noticed it appear suddenly out of thin air. In the end, I simply had to accept that it was a miraculous effect of Makoto's consciousness.
voilà, c'est la conscience de Makoto.
With the
Bah oui.
help of the sacred Sakura's power, I was finally able to overcome the monsters and quell the disaster
Ok,
in
le cerisier, c'était
Inazuma.
la clé.
This is all really hard to understand. Kinda beyond Paimon's level.
Voilà, c'est ça. La Paimon, elle a du mal à suivre à
Yes.
chaque fois.
She had such a great love for this land and for its people. In this respect, I still do not compare to her. I once told myself that I would never speak of these events again. Facing the fact that she is gone is unbearably painful. But even the tea that is most bitter to the tongue, once swallowed, leaves some sweetness in the throat. And it's time I came to terms with it all.
Oh, while we're on the topic, since you experienced that battle in person...
Ah oui, on sait
Sister,
jamais.
I had heard that you were looking for your family.
Ouais, on la cherche depuis
You
longtemps,
mean to
on l'a
say
croisée
that
2
she
fois
was
en
somehow involved in the Kanria
longtemps là,
disaster?
depuis le début quoi.
Based on what we've learned so far, it seems so, yeah.
I'm sorry. I wasn't there for the whole thing. By the time I arrived, the worst of the fighting was already over. And
Putain,
also,
notre sœur elle a fait de la merde.
my mind was consumed entirely with the plight of Inazuma and the fate of those closest to me. So, I am afraid I can't help you.
Oh, well,
Dommage, hein, encore une fois. Encore une personne qui peut pas m'aider. Hein.
but it can't be helped, I guess.
Moi j'aide tout le monde. Hein.
Boy,
Et personne ne m'aide en
both
retour.
of you have experienced great tragedy.
With this last cup of tea, let us honor the Tea Master's memory. Thank you, Destiny, for giving us the chance to meet again.
We should go. Let's keep
Quête
following the
terminée.
traces.
Very well. Based on my investigation so far,
Observez la tasse. Ok. Contenu à suivre les traces. Merde, elles vont où? Attends, je sais pas où ça part. Là-bas, ok. Oula, je suis bugué. Hop. Ça va en bas là? On va dire que oui. Ça va là-bas. Il y a un mec là-haut. Je sais pas où on va arriver hein. Ok. Ok, ok, ils sont ici.
once again, please leave them to me.
Ok, si tu veux, vas-y, un coup d'épée. Hein.
Hey, are you sure you're all right? You're scaring us.
Pourquoi? Elle est enragée?
Fear not. Fighting is what
Ah,
I
elle est
do
faible.
best.
Elle est faible.
Illusion shattered. Ha, ha.
Attends, est-ce qu'il y a le truc là? Je l'oublie après. Allez, allez. Tac, comme ça je le récupère tout de suite.
Shine down.
Maintenant je peux m'occuper de lui. Quoi?
Are you all right?
Ah, des fois elle freeze.
I'm fine.
Ah, elle freeze. Oh merde. Elle a de la latence. Ok. Donnez la bande de naze.
Torn to oblivion.
En plus je mets 49 000 de dégâts mais sans avoir l'anneau complètement chargé en gros.
Illusion
Allez, arrête de friser.
shattered. Shine down.
Moi j'avais pas vu ma vie.
Shines eternal.
Vu que j'ai pas de chichi là.
Removal
Je peux crever. Allez, allez, allez.
obstacles. There is no escape.
J'essaie d'un peu plus esquiver parce que...
Shine
Oh merde.
down.
Ok, c'est bon.
Maybe you should leave this one to us.
Ouais, elle a l'air un peu... perd ses pouvoirs et tout, là, il y a un problème.
My apologies.
Don't worry about it. Just take a breather and get your strength back. We'll
ton-
deal with the monster.
On gère, on gère. Ok. C'est les ombres qui vont s'en charger.
That's the same light again.
Ok, ils vont les défoncer.
Where am I? Who are you? Almighty Shogun, you're here too.
What? Ils sont plus là,
Are
les
you
monstres.
injured, Your Excellency?
Oh non, ils vont l'avoir dans un état pas fou.
I'm quite all right. Just feeling a little stiff.
We, the Shogunate Samurai, will defend the Shogun until the very end.
Ok, stylé.
Come on, men. They're coming back for more. Let's get them.
Ils vont les défoncer.
Don't! It's too dangerous.
Danger is our duty, ma'am. If we were the kinds to shy away from danger, we never would have taken up arms to begin with.
S'ils meurent comme des merdes, je rigole.
No need to worry, Almighty Shogun. When the situation looks bleak, we will draw on the power granted to us by the gods.
Oh, il a une voix badass, lui.
Is that a vision?
Ah ok, il a un œil divin.
It certainly is. I know the gods are omnipotent, and their willingness to grant their power to humans means they have high expectations for us. If the Almighty Shogun is in trouble, now of all times is the moment for us to honor that.
So that's how samurai of that era understood visions, huh?
Nobody knew where your excellency had gone, and we were starting to despair. But now we've found you. You're right here with us. Just the sight of you appearing before us once more has
ça m'émeut.
reignited the hope in our hearts.
M'émeut un peu cette histoire.
This hope is the light that will guide us out from the darkness.
Everyone, on me!
Ok, on va se battre avec eux. Bah,
Huh?
du coup, on va tout faire.
Affirmative, but watch your backs.
Ok. Est-ce qu'on va les voir se battre?
Protect the Almighty Shogun!
Ouais. Trop cool. Pourquoi
There is no escape.
Ah ouais, la Shogun est dedans.
Boba, get them!
Il avait pas vu venir celle-là.
Eat this! Nowhere to hide. Speed of light. Opening box of Adeptrix.
On va être un petit ulti quand même.
Torn to oblivion.
Oh non, y'a plus personne.
Shine down.
With sword comes shadow. Incoming.
Nice and spike.
Rise.
Je sais pas où je tape. Ok, c'est bon. Nice.
It seems like their attacks are finally over.
Avec mon petit fantôme.
I've never fought so fiercely before.
Heureusement qu'on était là.
Thank you all.
Are you okay? Maybe you should keep resting.
I'm fine. I feel much better already.
Ça a pas
You
l'air.
fought phenomenally. It was truly awe-inspiring. The monsters will definitely come back. And when they do, it'll be more than a few Rift Hounds this time. Quickly, escort Her Excellency back to Inazuma City, and regroup with the General's forces as soon as possible.
Ok.
When everyone sees the Almighty Shogun safely returning, their spirits will be lifted.
Il faut qu'elle ait l'air forte.
Well, what are you guys gonna do?
We will stay here and guard against the monsters' advance. We cannot afford to let them get any further. We are brothers in arms. As long as we stick together,
Ok, le fait de rester là, ça leur a coûté la vie du coup.
that come our way.
Peut-être pas, c'est peut-être un autre endroit en fait. Je m'embrouille un peu.
Just leave it to us. Fighting is what we do best. But the Almighty Shogun is the only one of us with the power to change the present state of affairs. Only Her Excellency can turn back the tide of despair and lead us onward into the future. No matter what kind of threat faces Inazuma, we will always place our faith in the Almighty Shogun.
Thank you all very much. I promise you that I will create a bright future for Inazuma.
À gérer.
I should not have left it this late to make this promise. But from this moment forth, know that I shall be true to my word.
Don't worry, Your Excellency. We will never doubt your word as long as we live.
Ah, maintenant ils sont morts.
With you leading us, we will claim back everything that Inazuma has lost.
Glory to the Shogun! Glory to the Shogun!
Glory to the Shogun.
They're gone.
Où est-ce qu'il y a une promesse que vous aviez? Hein, quoi? Faisiez à vous-même. Ah oui, c'est peut-être une promesse. Ce sont la même chose. Les deux, ok.
The people's sacrifice has always caused me immense pain. But in dwelling on the tragedy, I overlooked their splendor. The grief blinded me to how brightly they shone in their final moments. The result being that in the centuries since their sacrifice, I have dishonored their will. You could take the view that whatever I say to them is meaningless, because they are but disembodied memories held in the ley lines. But even so, they are due a resolution. I owe it to them, and to all the people who have placed their faith in me to
Ouais, faut
date.
qu'elle donne des explications.
Well, Paimon thinks that even if it's a few hundred years later, you're doing right by them now, and that's what counts.
Thank you for your comforting words. But this is my basic duty as Inazuma's Archon, and I have neglected it for far too long. I used to think just like that samurai, that I was first and foremost a warrior, and my only duty was to face whatever challenge came my way. But what Inazuma needs more than a warrior is someone like Makoto. Even though I am utterly unlike Makoto, and can never become the person she was, I still need to do the things that she would have done.
Ouais,
Yes,
c'est des bons,
they
les humains.
are.
C'est des bons.
They are strong and resilient, and have much to be proud of. As the Raiden Shogun they revere, I should not be the one to hold them back.
Well said. Sounds to Paimon like you figured things out.
Change will come to Inazuma.
Ça se trouve,
And
le fait
with it, new
d'être comme ça la rend
possibilities.
faible. Ah,
This will take time, but eventually, the future
Elle
will
est
bring
trop gentille.
healing to the scars of the past. No matter how long it takes, I am committed to bringing this to fruition. This is my promise. Now that we've dealt with the Rift Hounds, this matter is halfway resolved. It does not appear that the threat will escalate for the time being.
d'accord.
I will leave the Tenryo and Yashiro commissions to handle the follow-up work, such as investigating the origins of this incident and tending to the root system.
Alrighty then, let's move on.
Ok, en route pour où?
He looks calm on the outside, but Paimon bets her emotions must be all over the place right now, huh? She seems to have
Qu'est-ce qui va se
changed
passer
a
là?
lot since we last met. Huh?
Elle est où?
What's wrong, eh? Come on, keep up.
Oh là là, qu'est-ce qui se passe?
What's going on? Are you feeling unwell again?
My body... I can't move
Ouais,
it.
une paralysie. Mais oui, t'avais des frises tout à l'heure.
It looks like the situation... No need.
Oh putain.
She
Elle, c'est qui elle?
is calling me.
Bah oui, on va te
Can you
porter
help
s'il
me
faut.
walk? I need to go to the cave below the Grand Narukami Shrine.
Ok.
What's in there?
A battleground. One where I shall sever ties with the past
Oh mon dieu.
and take the first steps into the future.
Mon dieu, qu'est-ce qu'on va faire? Ok, le sanctuaire, le sanctuaire. Non mais la grotte là-bas on y est déjà allé non? Non peut-être pas, ça me dit quelque chose mais peut-être pas. Déjà faut trouver l'entrée. Et pas le... Normalement ça met les pointillés là. Ok c'est ici. Ah au moins il y a c'est la barrière. Rendez-vous sous la grotte. En dessous. C'est là? Ok ça a l'air hein. Dans la grotte en dessous du sanctuaire. Ah c'est pas du tout là. Oh le con. Mais attends mais comment je passe?
Faster? Okay, faster.
Ah là il y a un truc. Il y a un truc là. Et du coup il en faut 2 pour passer. Non? C'est pas ça l'histoire? Ok non je peux passer nickel. Parfait.
We're finally here. The entrance should be nearby.
Whoa! Where'd the
Ouh
toy
là là là
gate
là.
come from?
It's getting worse again.
Très bien, go en finir là.
But it's fine. I'm happy. I'm about to put an end to it all. This is a place I once sealed off with my own hands. The
Oula.
entrance to Raiden Makoto's
Ok c'est la
realm
conscience de
of
Raiden Makoto.
consciousness. It looks like she will no longer allow me to do with this body as I please.
Huh? What are you talking about? And who is she? Makoto?
Non c'est pas Makoto, c'est qui? Follow me. Ok, on follow you.
Where are we go?
Paymon elle flippe. Elle flippe, elle flippe.
I'm dizzy.
On est au milieu de nulle
Where did we
part.
get sucked into this time? Whoa. This place. Look,
Oh là 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 là.
look over there. It's another A.
Ah ok.
We meet again, traveler. This body
c'est la
is an
Shogun.
assistant to the one within, but it is also the guardian of the rules. Should the one within wish to stray from the rules, this body shall stand in her way.
Wait,
What?
Paimon knows that voice. Is that the puppet?
Ok donc la marionnette veut tuer
You have
veut tuer
wandered
Ei
the
quoi.
realm in my body, and you appear to have grasped the true essence of eternity. You believe your present self has greater certainty than your former self. Thus, you believe your present self is correct. Don't
ouais.
you? But have you really been enlightened with new ideas? Or have you been degraded by irreversible erosion?
Oula,
I'm here to
une
show
érosion
you my
carrément.
answer. We are both warriors, and the dialogue we must now have shall be conducted by the
Ok,
blade
go faire un
alone.
duel.
Wait. The atmosphere in here just took a turn for the worse. Are you alright now?
The discomfort I was experiencing earlier was caused by the Shogun rejecting my continued use of her body.
Ah mais là elle va
As
la
she
laisser, ok.
indicates, once I started entertaining the idea of change, I became hostile in her eyes. But inside a realm of consciousness, I exist independently of her. she cannot affect me in this way. Though she is a puppet, the Shogun has her own consciousness too. When necessary, she appears here to confront me.
D'accord.
Paimon gets that everyone has their internal battles and stuff, but not like this! It's a bit extreme! Hey, showdown with the Shogun?
Ok, ça part en duel.
We'd see that day.
On va l'aider un
The
peu, non?
rules I set for the Shogun are... No. The Shogun herself is the manifestation of my past ideals. The very foundation stone of eternity. It shall not be easily swayed. I would not try to change her if it wasn't necessary.
Isn't there any other way? Can't you talk it through or something?
Non, non, il n'y a pas de discussion.
But they both just want the best for Inazuma.
My form is a symbol of
Oula,
supreme
elle a changé de
majesty,
voix.
in which has been vested power over all the realm. It is the cohesive embodiment of all that constitutes the Raiden Shogun. It inherits Ei's pain, the pain of inevitable loss that comes as she moves forward. So too does it inherit her determination to reach eternity. Every action undertaken is for the sake of resisting erosion. Determination, courage, love, hatred, all of these will be degraded and distorted by the incessant flow of time.
Oh là là.
Only rules shall remain constant for eternity. Those were my thoughts when I created you. Now, they are towering obstacles that I have no choice but to overcome. You wish to make yourself my enemy? I am your past, the everlasting law, the guardian of eternity.
Ah, mais calme-toi, calme-toi.
And I am she who promised a dream to her subjects. Raiden A.
Raiden A, ok, good.
In the end, even the proud and mighty Oni maiden was cut
Ok.
down in disgrace.
On joue que elle encore une fois.
Though your blade has been cleansed of her blood and filth,
Pourquoi elle a déjà son ulti chargé?
shine as bright as it once did.
C'est pas dégueu.
Absurd.
Bon, je pense que
Weak.
ça va être plus compliqué après.
Pathetic. Be gone. There is no escape. Inazuma shines eternal. Be gone. The Kitsune sakura blossoms that once filled the skies
Ok, une barrière.
fell to the ground as pitch black rain.
Elle se soigne là?
As long as the ley lines flow, the relentless erosion of time will never stop.
Tu déconnes. Pourquoi moi je peux pas?
Absurd. Torn to oblivion. Shadow.
Ah, c'est protégé.
Weak. Shine down.
Allez, arrête. Attends, parce que je vais mourir en fait.
Insolent.
Est-ce que c'est prévu que je meure?
You shall perish.
Ok, ok, je l'ai.
The divine lightning that envelops all of Inazuma will fade silently into the
Mais
clouds. There shall never be another.
c'est pas du jeu en fait.
Never. For the rest of time.
Elle comprend bien que c'est pas du jeu.
Ascending. Inazuma shines eternal.
Ah ouais, j'allais esquive.
Shine down. I shall not fall here.
Oh,
Weak.
j'ai été soigné.
There is no escape. The eye sweeps the lands.
Attaquer continuellement les ananas. Laisse-toi pour les détruire. Oh, je peux le temps.
Shine down. Now you shall perish.
Normalement, voilà, elle esquive pas deux fois d'affilée.
Ymir crumbles
Have you finally defeated her?
Bah, je pense pas, non.
It appears your martial prowess has not dulled. But how long can your will remain strong?
Quoi?
In this realm of consciousness, her existence is tenacious indeed. She was built to resist erosion. Her will is stronger than any other living beings, including you and me.
Ok, donc c'est quoi la strat?
Does that mean this is gonna be a never-ending battle?
Maybe. But I have to prove to her that my present will is no product of erosion. The future I shall forge will be a grand
undertaking. Je pense qu'en gros, on va pas pouvoir la tuer, mais il faut qu'on gagne sa confiance, entre guillemets.
If I don't do this, the Shogun's rules can never change, and Inazuma can never move forward.
Là, faut qu'on lui fasse changer ses règles.
It's my duty. No matter how long this battle may last, months, years, centuries, and no matter how many times we must fight. 500 years ago, humanity proved their strength in battle. Here in the present, they rely on their ambition to challenge wayward practices, tear them out like the diseased wood of an old sakura tree, so that new, healthy branches might spring to life in their place. It is about time that I learned to trust them. I understand that. But if the dreams of which Makoto spoke are true eternity, a short moment for which the Shogun does not exist is nothing to fear. I fight for the everlasting future of Inazuma. However long the battle may last, it is but a drop in the ocean of eternity. I vow to the subjects of Inazuma that I shall one day return. This is my oath.
Ok.
Please, be my witness. During my absence, I place everything in Miko's hands.
Ok, c'est Miko qui gère.
But this means that...
Pass on my words.
Oula, qu'est-ce qu'elle va faire? Mais non. Et elle se barre?
Looks like we got kicked out.
Elle nous a renvoyé chier.
What do we do? Are we really just gonna leave A and the Shogun to keep on duking it out in there forever? She was making sense, and maybe this is the only way to change the Shogun's rules, but still...
Ouais, il doit y avoir une solution.
Right? Also, A can be pretty stubborn at times, and has a history of rushing into difficult situations. What if she gets too obsessed with winning, and she forgets why she's there in the first place? It could happen, and then she might never leave again.
Notre travail n'est pas terminé.
Yeah, we should help her out, like we did last time. The quicker she gets through this, the better. Is there any way we can cut down how long she needs to spend in there? Or, you know, help her win the fight? Well, whatever. We can't let anything bad happen to A while she's in there. Oh, but we also can't get in there anymore. Okay, well, first things first. We gotta find a way back in. Oh, come on, brain juice.
Peut-être en fonçant dessus.
Okay, maybe if we both ram into it at the same time really, really hard.
Là, on a besoin de Miko.
Paimon nearly forgot about her. Who knows if she really understands these consciousness realm playing thingies more than we do, but there's no one else we can turn to. Alright, up the mountain we go.
En route pour la montagne. Bah go. Ok, on est à la montagne. Bien, Miko, on a besoin de toi.
Someone's not in the best of moods. Let me guess. You're all tangled up in another situation and need me to unravel it for you.
Oui.
I hope you realize how lucky you are. If it was anyone else, I don't think I'd have the patience to keep greeting them with a smile after the first few
Oui, bah,
times.
ça va. Hein.
But you're always smiling.
That was a figure of speech. Do you understand?
Oula, oula, oula.
Nitpick.
On n'a pas le temps, on n'a pas le temps.
Yeah, something really big's happened. It's A. She...
Oh, okay, I see. So, A's decided to palm Inazuma off on the humans, while she goes off on her own to fight a fierce battle that doesn't even have an end date.
Elle dit ça en mode elle est conne.
Stubborn. jumps straight to the most extreme course of action imaginable, presumes her sheer will can see her through, despite a near impossible goal that requires
C'est tout
nothing
craché.
short of the very peak of her abilities.
Elle est en train de la déglinguer.
Yes, that sounds like A, all right. You know as well as I do that she's always been like this. Why start fretting about it now? Rushed into it without thinking. Well put. Oh, she acts like such a child sometimes. So
Elle
you
réfléchit
seem
pas
to be
beaucoup.
under the impression that I am able to offer some sort of help? Who gave you that idea?
Is she playing dumb? She's doing this on purpose, for sure!
Elle se joue de nous.
Aha, you're learning, little one. But really, the truth of the matter is that I don't know much more about Raiden Makoto's realm of consciousness than you do. All I know is that it's the foundation of the sacred Sakura, and from what I've heard, it's a little different from A's plane of euthymia.
Because Raiden Makoto is no longer alive?
Not just because of that. The nature of the space itself is different in some way. But I can only speculate. You're the ones who have actually been there, so you tell me. What was it like?
C'est vrai qu'on y a été.
Anyway, we needn't worry about the details too much. It'll just be a little difficult to explain things later on, that's all. First things first. Follow me to the entrance.
Très bien. Go à l'entrée. Attends, mais il se fout de nous, on fait des allers-retours. Ok, c'était plus bas. Attends, faut que je reprenne peut-être ça pour passer. Non, c'est bon, la barrière a été brisée. Ok, est-ce qu'elle peut faire quelque chose?
Now then, I always have my ways. It's just a question of how crafty I need to be. To the outsider, the realm of consciousness is a very abstract concept. Luckily, I'm A's familiar, so I can sense her rough whereabouts. In other words, even though I can't pinpoint the exact spatial location of this realm, I can still send you to where A is.
Ça c'est cool.
So, it's abstract, but has a location, but you don't know where it is, but you can still send us there. What?
Yes, no need to try and understand it. Let me put this simply. Right now, she is surrounded by chaos. Everything is turbulent and disordered. If you try to force your way in, you could be swept away by a giant wave that sets you down in an unknown corner of space-time. This is precisely why when entering the plane of euthymia, it's much safer if you place your consciousness in a physical object first.
What? Alright, well, Paimon, stay here then. You two can go in.
Suit yourself.
Faut déposer sa
Worst
confiance,
case
sa
scenario, all we
conscience.
stand to lose is A. So what's the big deal?
You... Paimon had it up to here with both of you!
Oh, well, if you're quite sure, then of course. Now, I shall send you on your
Allez,
way.
renvoie-nous là-bas. Voilà, c'est pas compliqué en fait.
I say. Oh, nothing. It just seems extraordinarily chaotic, that's all.
Ok.
My suspicions have been confirmed. By the way, remember to focus constantly on your heartfelt wishes when you enter inside. Only a strong enough will can prevent
Ok,
you
mon
from
souhait c'est
being
de retrouver ma
swallowed by
sœur.
the giant waves of abstract space. Only if you are strong enough can I deliver you to the right destination. Well then, the door is open. Hop
Oh
on
là là.
in. I'll stay outside and provide what stability I can. I'll be ready to respond if anything happens.
Ça c'est gentil ça.
I'm placing my god in your capable hands. For my sake and for Inazuma's, please. Bring her back.
Ok.
Nico, you better know what you're doing!
Mais oui, go.
That's enough chatter. Get to work.
Ok, ça va chauffer.
Remember to focus constantly on your heartfelt wishes when you enter inside. Only if you are strong enough can I deliver you to the right destination.
What the fuck?
How can this be?
Bah, on est là, on est là.
You've returned. But how were you able to get back in? And
Ces
how
années.
come you
Ah oui,
have not changed at all in
ça fait une éternité
all
déjà.
these years? This is a duel to remember. It is as if we have returned to the moment when the laws of eternity were first established. Your will today is as strong as it was back then. Over countless battles, not once have you lost, and never have you shown the slightest hesitation. Had I made all enemies of eternity stand against you, you still would not have wavered. For your firm commitment to enforcing the rules, you have my admiration too.
Ok.
You bring honor to the title of Guardian of Eternity.
Elle se renvoie la balle, elle se renvoie les
once
compliments.
more to this space. An inevitability of fate, perhaps. Then, let this be our final duel. The conclusion to that which began 500 years ago. Final duel?
Dernier duel.
So you're finally willing to... Stand back, traveler.
Ok, on va en finir.
I'm going to be the start of something new. The time our duels took to fight was long enough to witness the rise and fall of nations.
Ouais, il commence déjà à casser les dents avec sa barrière.
The energy they consume, great enough to vaporize the oceans and turn day
Enfin, pourquoi j'attaque que avec de l'électro là?
and the will they demand,
Ouais.
sufficient to penetrate minds
tu triches.
and crush dreams.
On est en full ulti.
I will endure forever.
Je sais pas si on va se soigner. Heureusement que j'ai esquivé ça.
Shine down.
On va voir est-ce qu'elle va se heal ou pas.
Inazuma shines eternal.
Oh non.
Witness the final calamity.
Attaquer la fleur. Plus rapidement. Quoi? Oh, il s'est passé quoi là?
Illusion shattered.
Non, non. Bon, c'est chaud.
Transcendental constraint.
Ok. Bah oui, j'ai gagné.
Is the end.
Je t'ai éclaté.
You have won. I believed you were incapable of transcending the past. But it seems my belief was baseless, and I underestimated your spirit.
Et ouais.
But a will that cannot be eroded has no way to embrace the future. You need not worry about the future. And you aren't alone. I know your power more than anyone else. Had I relied upon my strength alone, I would have lost this duel for sure. Yet, my reason for fighting redefined my martial prowess and redrew my limits. I now carry the gaze of the myriad of expectant eyes that look to the light in the heavens. And whenever I think of this, I feel something stirring within Muso Ishin.
Ah oui, ok.
The blade that I inherited from Makoto seems to be trying to guide me, to encourage me. I noticed it also. Just now in the heat of battle, it seemed to unleash a new and unfamiliar power. This power is beyond the limits of my understanding. This blade belonged to Makoto. Perhaps it can only respond to me with its full power when I truly understand and
Et
believe in
ouais,
her.
on croit en elle.
When I clasped Muso Ishin in my hands, I had the feeling that she was by my side once again. It was at once a familiar feeling and a strange one. Makoto barely wielded a blade in her life, and yet her blade brings me closer to her. You have my approval.
Ok, on a son approbation.
Your present will is not the product of erosion. I shall no longer stop you from attempting to modify the rules.
Bah c'est gentil.
From this day forth, this body will remain your assistant. I won't design any more rules that can never be changed. You used to represent my past, but from today onward, you are me.
Oula oula.
Makoto never saw me as a fearless weapon. Likewise, I should not regard you as a mere tool. You truly have changed. I suppose this is what humans call
Mûrir, c'est ça.
growth. I understand. I shall become your shadow, just as you were once Makoto's shadow.
Wow,
The
stylé.
duties I perform will not change. But as a warrior, I look forward to the chance to fight like this again in the future. Do you say this because you have not yet reconciled
qu'on l'a vaincu,
yourself
hein.
with your defeat?
On a vaincu la Shogun. Hein.
It was simply a new experience for me. One that is worth reliving.
Have you finished fighting then? Like, for real this time?
Voilà, qu'est-ce qui se passe?
Hello, A. And greetings, those who have come to bear witness. I am Raiden Makoto, the previous Electro Archon, who failed in my duties and left you all to pick up the pieces.
Makoto?
Makoto?
I'm so happy. You've come so far. I always knew you would make it here in the end. I left a faint fragment of my will in Muso Ishin, so that in the moment that you unleashed its full power, I too would be released.
Mais non.
A convoluted way to reach you, but... well, you held such deeply entrenched views at the time that you wouldn't have listened to a word I said. There was no time to wait for you to have a change of heart. Please forgive me. All I could do was find some way to wait until you
D'accord.
came to me.
But... you never mentioned this to me.
Everything happened so suddenly. I'm sorry.
Ah, elle est souris.
I've always felt terrible for having to entrust Inazuma to you all of a sudden. I should have been the one to impart these ideas to you, a little at a time, to dissuade you from your pursuit of stillness.
Did you know what was about to happen in Conria?
I had some sense of it. That place was not somewhere that any Archon could afford to ignore. In my present form, I can no longer perceive time. I don't know how long we have been separated before this reunion, and I don't know what Inazuma has experienced in the meantime. But I know that this must have been an extremely arduous journey for you.
Ah, elle a
I'm
raison.
sure you must have wanted to shed tears many times along the way.
Don't look down on me.
See? You admit it. It was with this possibility in mind that I left a parting gift for you. Something to soothe Inazuma's pain. Here, take it. Before my last shred of consciousness fades away. But it is you who must take the most important step.
Ok. Merci Makato.
The light turned into a seed?
The miracle tree that blesses the people, in this moment new to the world and yet to be known. When to plant it, where it shall bloom,
she who brings it into being must let her heart and dreams decide. Grant it life, eh? Is it really? Eternity extends time into infinity. Dreams illuminate each moment within. When both shine in unison, the sacred Sakura blooms from the darkness, finally free from the clutches of the heavenly principles. Now the nightmare has dissipated, and reality is made whole. The vision we both yearn for is still further ahead. My only regret is that I cannot witness Inazuma's future, nor can I walk this journey with you. Do you know, I am so happy right now, because my final wish has now come true. Your polearm once protected me from countless calamities. For this, I've always felt indebted to you. Though I could never repay you in full, this sacred Sakura will buy you some time until you are ready to awaken and embrace the new. What do you think? Did it do the trick? This time, it really is goodbye, eh? Goodbye, Makoto.
Putain, elle est ouf cette cinématique encore. Magnifique fin.
So the A of the present planted the sacred Sakura in the realm of consciousness, and it took root in the Inazuma of the past. No
Exactement.
matter what you make of it, it's quite incredible.
All of this is thanks to Makoto's power. Her understanding of eternity is much more profound than mine. Eternity is a concept intimately connected with time. When you begin to touch on eternity, the concept of time becomes murky.
A place where time is meaningless and cannot be understood with ordinary logic. So that was the turbulence I was sensing.
Perhaps
that is the reason why you were able to return precisely to this point in time without any problems. And yet, that sense of disorderliness has now completely disappeared.
I don't fully understand yet. But my intuition tells me that the reason for everything, it's that seed.
Well, I'm not convinced that it was Makoto's power alone.
I know what you mean. Perhaps Makoto got a higher power involved in all of this. But whatever the explanation, her solution is what saved us all. Without the sacred Sakura, Inazuma would likely have been completely swallowed up centuries ago by that disaster and the filth.
I know you've always perceived there was something special about the sacred Sakura, but to me, it has always been there. You've tried in the past to prove to me that there's a connection between the sacred Sakura and Makoto's consciousness, but unfortunately, you never did persuade me, did you?
No, but I understand why now. It was because the sacred Sakura hadn't even been planted then.
Ah oui.
But don't you think that tree looked a lot different than how it does now?
The sacred Sakura is within my purview at the shrine, so obviously I get to prune it exactly how I like it.
Ugh. Now we see who's pulling the strings.
I'm joking. That tree has been through a lot since it first sprouted. We have the loving care of Kitsune over the ages to thank for how it appears today. And obviously I played my part too. It's fair to say that very little time passed between the moment you came out of that realm and the moment you re-entered it. But in that same time, centuries of battling took place on the inside, did it not? Traveler, if I'm guessing correctly, you were repeating your wishes to yourself in your mind, weren't you?
Bah oui.
At that time, I could sense A's whereabouts, but I also sensed anomalies in the flow of time within that space. Suffice to say, time added a whole new dimension to our search. Simply establishing a location was not sufficient. Fortunately, your will was strong enough that the turbulence carried you to the moment in time most likely to be the intersection of all that you were wishing for. The flow of turbulence may well have been influenced by Makoto, but it took everyone's efforts combined to ultimately help A. So this time, it looks like thanks are due to you.
Ok, bah remercie-moi.
Does that mean it wasn't by chance that we ended up at the final duel? We were always meant to be there to witness what was going to happen?
Ouais, c'était notre destin en fait.
I thought that the flow of time was the same on the inside and the outside. So it was a great shock to me when the traveler reappeared.
Nous, il s'est passé 5 minutes, hein.
My first thought was, has a great disaster befallen Inazuma? But it turned out you had come to rescue me. You came for my sake, to help me reach the best possible outcome.
Au final, on n'a servi à rien.
Thanks. You have done much for me, and I will never forget it.
A, how are you feeling now?
Il y a elle aussi, il faut la
My
remercier.
body has fully recovered, and the Shogun's will no longer fights against me.
Always thrilled to hear you're in good health. But I was really asking about your emotions. Have you managed to calm down?
Ah oui.
After all, you saw Makoto in there, didn't you?
I only heard her voice. I wouldn't say I saw her. I'll be fine. It brought a few things back, of course, but I've made my decision to move forward. I have to say, this has reminded me once again just how brilliant Makoto was. She predicted all the ways in which Inazuma's future could unfold, all the way back then. She even factored my immaturity into her plan. It's all thanks to her that Inazuma lived to see this day.
Elle est vraiment exceptionnelle. Mais vous aussi, vous avez joué un rôle très important. Ouais, effectivement. On va la saucer. Vos deux volontés ont été indispensables.
It was thanks to everything you did that you got to see her again. That's amazing.
Ce dernier pas semblait peut-être simple à effectuer, mais il n'a pu être possible que grâce à d'innombrables efforts réunis. Ok. Ah. Ce n'est pas parce que la cause et les effets ont été inversés que vous devez sous-estimer le rôle que vous avez joué là-dedans.
Thank you.
Ok, c'est deux phrases en une, c'est pas mal.
Today, at long last, you and Inazuma finally emerge from the shadows cast by the events of centuries past. Makoto and you are Inazuma's past and future, and both are indispensable.
It's rare to hear such comforting words from you. I graciously accept them.
Oh, come on. You only think it's rare because you never used to listen to a word I say.
Makoto said the exact same thing.
Ah, elle était sourde avant.
Great minds think alike, hmm? I wonder, does that qualify me to maybe take the position of Shogun for a couple of days?
Ça la fait pas rigoler
Actually,
non plus.
no. Forget that. Far more trouble than it's worth.
We will have to end the frivolities there. There is much work to be done. The Shogun and I will closely review the Inazuma of today to find out where things currently stand. Then, we will give careful consideration to the
Ok, elles vont travailler
future.
ensemble.
After that, I will abolish the Sakoku decree.
Ok, cool.
Really? That's huge news.
I am no longer
On a
pursuing
une
an
exclue là quand
eternity
même.
defined by stasis. In which case, there is no further need to keep the nation under lock and key. I don't doubt that many challenges lie ahead for Inazuma. I'm looking forward to it.
C'est beau. Et c'est la fin, Rêves éphémères. Acte 2 de la quête de Shogun Raiden de Ei. Des deux quoi. Des deux. Bon, c'était bien cool en tout cas. Du coup ça a aussi réintroduit Yaemiko qu'on va découvrir plus en détail dans la prochaine quête. Dans la prochaine quête d'histoire. parce que c'est sur elle que ça porte. Divina Vulpes, l'acte 1. C'est la suite de nos aventures. Sur ce, je vous fais des bisous. N'hésitez pas à me dire en commentaire si cette quête vous a plu, si l'histoire vous a plu. Et on se voit pour une prochaine vidéo. Bisous.